So now let's take a look at all the combos in effect. I want to go over them in kind of sections based on ones that have similar combo paths or similar uses and stuff like that. So to start off, your hop kick and your down forward 2 are going to come in handy a lot. And so up forward 3 and down forward 2, as well as down back 4, which you're never going to hit people with, and counter hit while standing 1, 2, 4. These all share a similar combo path. You can do this off of all 4 of them. Keep in mind, those last 2 don't exist. You're never going to hit anything with them. You can do this combo, and they have 2 more of their own later on. But suffice it to say, those 2 combos, if they appear, as well as your basic bread and butter hop kick combo, would look like this. Simple as can be. Down forward 2 pickup, string into screw attack, Narcissus for the ender. Again in slow motion, you can see down forward 2 is the first hit. 4-1 is nice and easy to pick up. Down 2-2-3, also very easy. Even though it looks like they're far away, it's not bad. Then it's a screw attack. You do forward, forward 3, hold it, do glide 1-2. This combo basically takes the other main path that we talked about, which is forward 2-3 to get him in the air, and then the round off and a back turn screw attack. Same ender, a little bit more damage this way. So again, in slow motion, down forward 2 is the first hit. Forward 2-3, punch them high enough in the air that round off, down forward 3 plus 4 connects. Then your back turn screw attack has nice damage built into it now. And the same ender, Narcissus into do glide. Little bit tricky at first, but not that bad. Pretty small execution for some more damage. So as mentioned, these other 2, down back 4 and this counter hit, you could use that previously mentioned combo on both of these if you want. They'll work just fine. But there is a better option you can do, which starts with full crouch down forward 1. This is rare that you see this because it requires a certain kind of little bounce and you need to be close, but this is one of those situations. So the first combo looks like this. And you guessed it, start off with that hit and then the simplest possible thing. 4-1, down 2-2-3. As simple as you need to be, works great. 75 damage just for that. It takes some getting used to doing the full crouch in time and then getting the down forward 1 before they drop, but it's really not that bad. You can just kind of hold it in and press the button and you're good. This next combo switches paths again. You use the forward 2-3 to punt them in the air, but this time you had to go to Narcissus into the 3 plus 4 screw attack. The round off flip will not work here. But after the screw attack, same thing. Narcissus do glide. It's easy as can be. He's got to get used to covering that range. With some practice, it doesn't take too much effort at all. So the next group of launchers have a little bit higher trajectory than normal. This would be your while standing 2 and the old Matterhorn. Their combos are a little bit different. While standing 2, even though it looks like down forward 2, does lift them higher in the air. You can do things like that flip, which you normally couldn't do, or you could do your delayed hop kick, which wouldn't fit under any other launchers. So this does add up to a little bit more damage, probably 5 or 6 more damage than the normal version of it. So I've listed you 3 combos with while standing 2 to take a look at. So the first one opens with up 3-3 because it has a nice chunk of damage and you have the height to catch it. So up 3-3, you hold forward, goes into do glide, but then she cancels that into back 2-1 and holds forward to go into do glide again and does the screw attack that way. So when you see it in slow motion, this is actually very, very technical. What she's doing is 2 sidestep cancels. Up 3-3 into do glide, then she taps up to cancel. Back 2-1 into do glide, and then screw attack. And then the ender is the same Narcissus into do glide 1-2. So let's take a look at how this sidestep cancel works. You see, as I do up 3-3 and hold forward, Lili goes into do glide, right? She just slides forward after it makes contact. Goes into do glide. But once you're in do glide, you can just press up to cancel it into sidestep. The do glide will stop and Lili immediately sidesteps. So if I just hold forward after the move and then tap up, looks like that. As soon as I see the do glide, tap up. Do glide, tap up. That's all that I'm really doing to cancel that. So once you've canceled the do glide into sidestep, you can basically do whatever you want from a sidestep, right? You have access to all of your moves for the most part out of sidestep, which includes back 2-1 that we're using in this case. So all that's really happening is just a correct tap up to cancel and then do the next move immediately. It's kind of harder to follow in the notation sometimes, but you can see where I'm holding forward after the last hit of up 3-3 to go into the do glide. I just tap up one time, which cancels that into a sidestep, and the very next thing you see is back 2-1, and then I hold forward to go into that do glide. That's it. That's all there really is to it. It can be tricky to learn, and eventually it just becomes muscle memory. You don't have to watch for the do glide. You can just kind of do glide and do it. Like, you'll learn how to do it a couple of times, you know, throughout other combos. As soon as you tap up, you can cancel it and do whatever you want from there. It's kind of a pretty important skill, but it's not paramount, right? You want to learn how to do it because you get good combos from it, but you don't need it if you find it too difficult. I think eventually, though, you'll get used to it. It's not that big a deal. It's just a matter of learning when that works. So there's a couple things you can do, like in training mode, to figure it out. I'm just going to use back 1 here for simplicity's sake. If you do back 1 and hold forward in a do glide, right? Let's say you want to do this and you cancel into a 2. Like that. You want to sidestep and cancel into 2 jab. If you get this, that was do glide 2, right? That was the homing move out of do glide 2. That means you were still in do glide when you pressed 2. You failed to get the up in order to cancel it. So that can happen sometimes if you press it too fast. If you aren't actually in the do glide state yet. Like if you press up before she actually enters the do glide, that can happen. I mean, like I said, you'll eventually learn the timing of exactly when it is you can press it, and you can speed it up until you get there. Like, you can wait really long and then do it, or you can do it instantly like that. So once you learn that little bit of window, I think it starts to get much easier. It's like, oh, I can actually do that pretty quick. And the instant you tap up, just do whatever you're going to do afterward. Immediately do the next move. You don't have to wait for anything to cancel or whatever at that point. Once you've entered that sidestep state, you can do whatever you want instantly. So that's all that's really happening there, is you're doing do glide and then canceling it into sidestep, which is just hitting the brakes. And then you do whatever move you want to do next, which in this case is back 2-1. And like I said, you could do that several times. You could cancel the back 2-1s do glide into that if you want, but there's a limit to it. And obviously you're only going to get 2-3 damage more at the most. So that's why I say this skill isn't super duper important, but it is pretty nice to learn how to do it one time to get these combos in a decent range, right? You're going to average 65, 70 damage for every combo once you learn how to do this. So it's pretty important, but it's not life or death. So this combo does your delayed hop kick, and then it does back 1 into just standing 2. And then the 2-2-3 screw attack and Narcissus Ender. So watch it again in slow motion. This is the exact same cancel. The delayed hop kick, she does back 1 and holds forward, which puts her into do glide. Then you tap up to cancel the do glide, and then you just press 2 jab. That's it, just press the 2 jab there. And then from that point down 2-2-3 and all the rest of it. So that's all that cancel is just hold forward and tap up at the right moment. That's the first one I learned how to do, and it just feels perfectly normal to me at this point. I do that combo every time, no issues. So the third combo presented just uses the old forward 2-3, punt him in the air, and then Narcissus to 3+4 screw attack and Narcissus Ender. This is much more conventional, same damage as the last one. I just learned how to do the last one first rather than doing these. Because these can be tricky too. Up in the air, when the opponent is up in the air from the forward 2-3, double tapping forward 3 can be a little bit tough sometimes. If you have a smooshy D-pad, it can be a little hard. If you're a little bit early doing it, you get stuff like that. It takes some timing to practice too. You kind of gotta watch the cue for her leg to return to the ground. Once you see her leg come back down, then you can double tap 4-4-3 real fast. And if you take too long, you miss. If you do it too early, you get the wrong move. So that's a little bit tight too. It's just all timing, not technical. The back 1 cancel stuff is both. It's tight timing and it's very complex how to do it. So move on to the other high launcher we mentioned, Matterhorn. Down 3+4, the same thing. Even though she's 5 miles into the air, there's not a whole lot more you can do here fancy-wise. Your delayed hop kick is still pretty much the best thing. That gets you more damage than anything else that would be harder to do. So delayed hop kick is pretty much what I stick with. There are other possibilities if you want to use like that rare screw attack. That could be a thing. I don't know. It's not really worth messing with it for me because the same combo, you know, your delayed hop kick and the normal stuff works just fine. So in this first one, you see delayed hop kick, the old down forward 2, but instead of 4-1, we just do a 2 jab to save the hits. Same 2-2-3 screw attack, blah, blah, blah. Basic combo that we've seen every time. He's got to trade out one of the hits. This second combo, same thing, delayed hop kick and the forward 2-3 we've been doing, but now you've got the height, so you can do the round off into back turn 1-4 as your screw attack, and then end it with Narcissus into do glide. That 80 damage is a lot. It's really, really punishable on block, but man, if you can blow somebody up by crushing through their jab with a Matterhorn combo, and you get that 80 damage off of them, you just feel like a genius. There's not too many better feelings in the game than successfully hitting that combo. Keep in mind, you're stretched to the limit with your distance in this one. You really got to cover that distance at the end to get that last little hit to reach. You got to work on that timing a little bit, but anything in this game is timing, right? You're going to have to get used to how it feels no matter what. All right, so next up are a category of acrobatic launchers. These are moves that cause flips in the air and have unusual paths behind them. The first one is while standing 3, and she can do this move and then press 3-4, I think it is? 4, just press 4, and she does that back on top of him. Like, that's cool. If you're at a floor break stage, this would be a great punish to do that, and then still have a whole combo on the ground. But otherwise, this is just a launcher by itself. You can do forward 2-3. So just like the other ones, because you have enough height, here's forward 2-3, and then the round off, back turn screw attack. But now, since we didn't use a hit in the beginning, right? Since we didn't have room for an extra hit, you can do the back 2-1 into do glide ender in this combo. So watch it in slow motion. We start with forward 2-3, and we did the round out, or the round off, but we have one extra hit. So now we can do heliotrope in a do glide ender instead. 68 damage. Next up is up 3. This weird little flip is not a very good move overall. Honestly, up 3-3 is better because you get right into this extension and the mix-up and stuff. But up 3 by itself can hit people. You're probably never going to do it on purpose, but it does happen. You're going to get the same situation here. Forward 2-3 is a go-to move off of it. Nothing fancy. So there's this one. We just do forward 2-3 and then into Narcissus screw attack. And again, we got a hit left over, so you can use heliotrope to end it into do glide 1-2. And it's just, I don't think they can hit you in between here on block. It's hard to say though, because I never do this on purpose, but it's here. So because this one now, that second hit actually is Narcissus. If the first 2 connect, they're already in the air, you can go into your do glide stuff right here. So since you're going to go into do glide, you got to press up to cancel. So all I'm doing, I'll show you this part real quick. I'm just pressing up and then 4-1. Press up, then press 4-1. So the first combo you see, we just do that, cancel the do glide, 4-1, the simple screw attack, and then go into the Narcissus ender, because you have used your airborne hit. You see that the up 3-3 uses one of your hits in the air, so you have to stick to the basic ender, but the combo couldn't be any simpler. The old down 2-2-3 is nice and reliable. This next combo, you guessed it, just takes the other path. Once you've canceled your do glide, you can do forward 2-3, just like you had nothing there. Take some practice again, but once you get used to the cancel, forward 2-3, and then Narcissus screw attack, pretty simple to do for 75 damage. Just depends on which path you're comfortable with. If you like 4-1, down 2-2-3, stick with that on all of these. You could totally do that for almost all of these, and it would work out just fine. Up 3 floor. She does this huge leap in the air and tries to land on your shoulders. This move is actually pretty good with some huge risk. If you miss entirely, you get boned. If they backdash this, it's Punish City. But like, if you catch it at just a tip, you need that knockdown, and you get it just right, you get a whole combo. And if they block either one of these, you're still safe. So this is actually kind of cool. You could tend to jump right over something and land on their head without them even realizing what happened. The combo path is really, really weird on this one, just because the way that they fall. They're upside down and backwards and high in the air. So there's one quick little mini combo, that, like the first thing that I ever figured out, which is just to do a while standing 2. Because I'm like, what else am I going to hit him with? This is flaky. This doesn't reach. That was hard. I found while standing 2 was actually pretty good. And now since you have the back turn screw attack in 1-4, that's kind of the one that I went to real quick. That's actually pretty easy to do. So the whole thing looks like this. You have time to crouch, and then while standing 2, just remember to hold back. And then 1-4 is your screw attack. And this time you do the Narcissus Ender, but you do glide 2-1 instead. Because the angle they are, the 1-2 is going to go over their head. 2-1 will hit them and smack them into the ground. So take a look at it again. It's kind of a weird combo. An instant while standing 2 that you turn backwards by holding back. Screw attack right away. And then you just do Narcissus, but you do a different Ender. And you still get 64 damage, which is pretty decent off this safe launcher. So the other combo can open with forward 2-3, and since they're super high in the air, you can use round off and then back turn 1-4, right? The end of the combo, however, you know this is doing the exact same thing, the same round off. You cannot use Narcissus at this point. They're going to be too far away and backwards. None of that stuff hits. So you can just do round off 1-4, round off 1-4. And 71 damage is great. The problem is watch it in slow motion. You can see there's a lot of delay in here. You have to delay that forward 2-3 just right so that they land on your foot and maintain the height necessary for the round offs. And at that point, it's easy. You kind of have to dash up to do the last at the end, but you'll notice that, right? If you're coming up short, just dash deeper. You're going to take some practice for all of these combos. You're going to realize that if you just do them straight up, oh, I missed by a mile. Oh, well, I actually have time. I can do a dash and then do it, and you'll see you cover the distance. So that stuff can be a little difficult to practice, but turn on your command notation to make sure you're pressing everything correct, and just analyze what's happening, right? If this move isn't coming out, it's because you're doing it too soon. Or if it comes out but it misses, that means you could do it faster or dash deeper or hit them high or whatever it is. So that was a little bit tricky because you have to delay a little bit to get your angles just right. So the last acrobatic launcher to talk about is the round off flip itself, down forward 3+4. This is a natural hit launcher that covers a ton of range and jumps over lows when it does so. It just doesn't track. But the character has a lot of stuff that does that. All of her good moves from way out here don't track, but they have superior range. You've got to live with it. That's kind of the way that it works. So this move is a natural hit launcher, but there's several ways you can combo from it because it leaves Lili automatically back turned. The first one to look at, she just does down 4 while she's back turned, which then turns her around forward, leaves her crouching to do while standing 2. And then from there, the rest of the combo is pretty straightforward. So take a look at it in slow motion. She remains back turned, does a down 4, and then immediately does while standing 2 out of her crouch, and then just a 2 jab, down 2-2-3 screw attack, and Narcissus Ender. It's a pretty simple combo. You just have to figure out how to turn around and then do your while standing 2, which takes the place of down forward 2. The next combo, as soon as the move makes contact, you just tap or hold forward to turn around all on your own, and then you can do the simplest combo we've always been doing, 4-1, down 2-2-3. Works great. You just have to turn around in time and then press 4-1 in time. It's really not that bad. You have enough time to see this move make contact, and then, okay, let me hold forward, and then do the move and catch it from there. It's pretty simple to do. And then because you have a hit left over, you can use the Heliotrope Ender back 2-1 into do glide 1-2. And the last option to cover is Lili does back turn 2 for a screw attack right away. In this case, she dashes up and does up 3-3 flips, cancels into back 2-1, and then the do glide Ender. So take a look at it again in slow motion. The move makes contact. Lili does back turn 2, which causes a fast screw attack, and then you dash up to do up 3-3 flips into do glide. You sidestep cancel that, and then back 2-1 into do glide, and do the Ender from there. So that's it. There's several different ways to do this combo, and I want to go over them all just because I think it's important to maybe do something a little bit different every time. If you noticed, every single one of those combos was 61 damage. The last one did it in fewer hits, but the damage was the same. So the advantage this gives you is keeping your opponent paying attention, right? If every time they get hit by a combo, they just kind of zone out for a minute until the combo's over and wait until they stand up. You do something like this, and they have to watch what you're doing because they're not quite going to be sure when it's over. They have to process what it is you're doing and therefore wait for it's their turn. They don't want to miss it, right? They don't want to zone out and have you do some crazy new combo. So this is going to keep them focused and make them pay attention, which if nothing else keeps them uncomfortable, right? If your opponent can relax for a second, that's the last thing you want. So having tons and tons of different combo options off of this is pretty cool. These are the 3 that I think are probably the most useful you might ever use. And they still have some good flexibility built into it. You can still change up your wall carry and stuff like that at the end. So it's an interesting launcher all around. It's just not one of her best, but it's kind of cool in my opinion. So next up, let's take a look at a group of screw attack launchers. Moves that when they connect will give you the screw attack right away. So that's obviously going to change your combo path a little bit. You're going to use the same combo tools, you just got to rearrange them because your screw attack is gone. Counter hit, back turn 2 is one of these. Counter hit, down back 3 is one. As well as the counter hit on forward 3, a new addition in Season 3. All of these cause a screw attack right away. So this combo does grant us an opportunity for full crouch down forward 1, which we mentioned earlier is a nice high damage opener. But you can see if you just crouch and do it, you're going to miss. This one kind of requires you to master the fake roll dash technique, as I call it in one of the other videos. You press down, down, forward, and hold it that way. You'll get a half a do glide, and then you'll go into crawl from there. You see how she's kind of taking a step forward? Right? If I just do down, down, forward, and hold it there, she does a half of a do glide and goes into it that way. That's what you have to do for this combo. And then you'll get the one attack from there. You got to get there early enough, though, before they drop. Like that. Can take some practice again, but this is worth having the extra damage. You're going to see 80 damage off these combos when we learn how to do that. So in action, it looks like this. The little half do glide into the down forward 1, and then forward 2, 3, punch them in the air. And what do we always do there? We do Narcissus, but this time we cancel that sidestep into a back 1 and end the combo the same way. So basically all we're doing is sticking a back 1 cancel loop in there. It looks like you had Narcissus and it ended with do glide 1, 2, but all we did was stick a back 1 loop in the middle. So it's the same principle as it was before. As soon as you do the do glide, you tap up. And as soon as you tap up, you do back 1 like you normally did. You just got to learn the window to do that timing. But again, you could cut that out and skip on 5 damage if you want to. Not a big deal. The harder part of that one is the full crouch down forward 1, and that's not even that bad. That's worth getting you the extra damage, and then the forward 2, 3 stuff is exactly the same. Narcissus, do glide, done. You just can pad these with a little bit more damage if you can do these back 1 loops. It's up to you. All right, next up. These are stun launchers, moves that let your opponent crumple to the ground. Now, there are 5 basic launchers like this. Forward 2 is one. They're a little different. They're a little tiny different. She goes straight to the ground that way. Counter hit on full crouch down forward 3. They flip over before they crumple to the ground. Counter hit on the second hit of do glide 1, 2. They crumple forward onto the ground. Counter hit forward 4. Basically the same one, crumples forward. And counter hit down forward 3. They flip backwards on the way to the ground. All 5 of these launchers can all do this universal-ish combo. I mentioned this in the beginning because the quarter circle 3, this move, you have to do this combo. It's the only one that works. But it also works for these other 4 launchers. So you can kind of stick to this for all 5 if you want to, and then we'll go over the better combos for each of the other 4 launchers after this. So that looks like this. Down 1, 2, 4 does your screw attack right away, and then since it's early, you can do up 3, 3 into your do glide. There's a back 1 loop, and then do glide 1, 2 is your ender. So check it out again. Down 1, 2, 4 picks it up, and it does your screw attack right away in a decent number of hits. You dash up 3, 3, and then you got to learn that cancel window right into back 1, and then back 1, do glide 1, 2. So that combo is universal to all 5 of these crumple launchers. However, most of them can do a little bit better than that, except for this one. This one cannot. So the 2 that can do next better are forward 2 and counter hit down forward 3. They can both take advantage of these 2 combos. The first one, simple as can be. 4-1, down 2, 2, 3, ender. There's nothing else in front of them because 4-1 is the only good hit box to pick up here. You can't do it down forward 2. You can't do forward 2, 3 and stuff. They don't work here. 4-1 is reliable, so you stick to the easy combo, heliotrope ender. The next combo is now possible because down forward 1 was changed in this current patch. They extended the hitbox forward and down the way this needed to be, so now this picks up off of these stuns and it did not used to before. This move has a much lower hitbox, thank the gods. So not only does it work against like low profiling opponents in a match, it can actually work in combo situations like this, which it did not do before. So since you can do that, you now have them high enough in the air that you can do forward 2, 3, and then the same Narcissus screw attack, Narcissus ender, just like that. So those two get a little bit more damage by being able to pick up from that particular stun. The counter hit from Do Glide 1, 2, they crumple forward, and the counter hit forward 4. These do even better than that. The first one has a little bit of style involved in it. We're going to do something a little bit nutty that still does nice damage and looks awesome. Once you hit them, you backdash, and then you can do the round off and back turn 2. Get your screw attack done right away, and then since you have space, you can do the up 3-3 flips into do glides, and you're going to cancel for a back 2-1 ender. And again, you could adjust this if you want to. The backdash part is kind of tricky, but it's not that bad. Screw attack is easy. You should be used to up 3-3 stuff. And if you don't want to cancel, you can go right into to crouch dash 1-2 and just be done. No problems there. The second combo, honestly, is easier. It's just not as flashy. You're going to do an instant while standing 2, and then the same 4-1, down 2, 3-3. Exactly the same combo we've been doing. No issues there. The instant while standing 2 needs to cover the ground. So you do that down, down, forward technique I talked about. So you cover the space between them, and then while standing 2, simple as can be once you got that. The third combo starts with the same instant while standing 2, and then forward 2-3 to punt them in the air. You don't have enough height for the round off, so what do you do instead? You do Narcissus into screw attack and the Narcissus ender. Thinking you're seeing a pattern here, right? That's pretty handy. Forward 2-3, Narcissus screw attack, Narcissus ender. That's what you want almost every time you can. Just depends on how you get them in the air first, which angles are correct and all that stuff. So those two combos have a little bit more damage than the norm. Let's revisit counter hit down forward 3. This one, where they flip backwards, you can actually do forward 2-3 right away. Instead of having to pick them up with a different hit, you can do forward 2-3, which kind of streamlines your combo a little bit. The first one we're going to see here goes right into Narcissus screw attack, and since you have an extra hit, Heliotrope ender instead, back 2-1. 75 damage, no problem. The second combo here is a slightly different variation that we haven't seen too much yet. You do the forward 2-3, and then just do down 2-2-3. We don't see those paired together too often, but it actually works really well here. And since you're saving a hit, you can do the Heliotrope ender again and get 3 more damage out of it. This one's actually kind of hard. The recovery off of this particular angle is a little bit tough to squeeze in. I would not think less of you if you decided to switch to the Narcissus ender here. No problems with it. 75 damage instead of 78 or whatever is totally good. So counter hit down forward 3 actually ends up being one of the best out of these crumple stuns, just because forward 2-3 enters the table all by itself. So just the last couple combos to mention here from miscellaneous launches that are hard to categorize otherwise. Back turn 1+2. This is a really good move all around. It just comes with kind of a crappy combo, so to speak. It's safe on block for the most part. It's quick, but the only way to pick this up in a combo is duck jab. Not down 1. Down 1 will not work here. So that's all you can do here. Since you're in a duck jab and you're crouching while standing 2, kind of fits the bill, right? That's just like any other combos we've seen. So once you do the back turn 1+2 duck jab while standing 2, and then you can do the path that we're used to, which looks like this. While standing 2 in the air, and just a 2 jab, since we already used up one of those hits, down 2-2-3, Heliotrope ender. So you kind of might have to get used to a little bit of timing to just hold down back 1, or hold down back and mash 1. But once you get that, it's super easy to do. So you see the pop just while standing 2, and the rest of it is easy as pie. The pickup is the only hard part here. Next up is counter hit, down back 3+4. This is a weird one, because they flop right to the ground, upside down, face first and everything. So there are a couple of unorthodox combos that still get you pretty decent damage. The first one is while standing 2. Actually, they're both while standing 2, excuse me. That's the only thing that can really pick up right there. And you can see that picks them up upside down and face first. So you got a couple options here. We saw the same sort of thing with the up 3+4. Because they were backwards, not everything would reach correctly. So you got to make up your mind what you want here. This first combo just does the while standing 2 for pickup, and then 2-4 for immediate screw attack. And then it does Narcissus ender and flips the order. Instead of here, we do glide 2-1. Just like we saw before, because they're backwards. So when the juggle is backwards, end it with do glide 2-1 instead because of those angles. 60 damage isn't too bad. That's pretty simple off an easy drop-proof combo. Turns out you can actually get a little bit more by doing more of the full combo, so to speak, from it. That looks like this. Do the same while standing 2, then a 2 jab, and down 2-2-3, right? We've seen that a million times, and it works in the back. The only difference is the ender. You can see they do round off into the back turned, which is normally your screw attack. Works pretty good as a combo ender here too. So in slow motion, the combo looks the same. While standing 2, the screw attack and all that is the same. It's just in the back. You got to do a nice little deep dash here, and then do down forward 3+4. And the back turn 1-4 is pretty much all it's going to hit and does nice damage anyway. So 67 is a much better result. Next up is a weird one, very weird one. It's counter hit, sidestep 1+2. You'll notice in many times that when this move hits them too far to the side, you don't even get your counter hit. Like, look at that. I'm standing right in front of her, counter hit charged. I take a nice big step and I hit her. I don't get my counter hit because it's not in the front. The hit detection is really weird for a lot of that stuff. They went through and patched a lot of it in Season 3. They did not patch it all. So, because of that, you have to only hit them from very specific angles, which are like kind of in the front. And look where she lands. Sideways, crumpled over. This is a weird one. So this first path I want to show you might seem like it's the crazy one, but I actually think it's the safest. And it's very reminiscent of the style point combo we saw before. So once you hit with the crumple stun, you backdash and do down forward 3+4, and then do your screw attack here and do the same flipped over backwards do glide 2-1 ender, right? We saw that combo. That was the exact same thing. The only difference is having to do the backdash for the round off to adjust your distance. If you do it too close, you'll flip on the wrong side of them. You won't get the combo, and you'll just end up not knowing who's on what side. The other combo is a lot more unreliable in my opinion, even though it might be a simpler combo. As you can see, it's just immediately going into down 1-2-4 for your screw attack, and then the regular Narcissus 1-2 ender. Looks fine, but that timing and that angle is really specific. If it's a little bit off to one side or the other, the do glide 1-2 is going to miss them entirely. So I think the backdash and then do the round off is a much more reliable path. They're both the exact same damage. So in my opinion, I think you should stick with the first one. But to play around with stuff, the second option is there to be a little bit more what you're used to, especially if you want to approach the wall. You can cancel that last hit and stuff like that. It's up to you. Last miscellaneous combo to talk about is a brand new one. Forward 3 is now a natural launcher again. This move is -12 on block this time around, so if you just do it and stop, you can get punished right there. Not to mention that if you hold forward and continue into do glide, even if they block this, they're still going to try to punish you, because when you transition to do glide, you're still like -3 here, I think. Their jab or their magic 4 is still going to hit you, right? You're not making yourself safe by going to do glide, but if you go into do glide and then sidestep, you stand a much better chance. So if they're blocking your attack and you sidestep out, you're good. So theoretically, this move forward 3 can be safe if you just always go into do glide and sidestep out. That'll work pretty well. So you got to deal with both of them. The first two combos are not going into do glide. They're just doing the move by itself on normal hit. So the first one here, you can see, takes advantage of the new down forward 1 hitbox, scoops them up, and the rest is as bread and butter as can be. 4-1, down 2-2-3, and the basic Narcissus ender. So watch it again. Down forward 1 doesn't seem like it should work if you've ever played Lili before, but it totally works now. It's actually really easy to do. You kind of just have to get used to waiting longer. This down forward 1 picks up really low to the ground. So if you can hesitate, and you'll still be okay, because of the rest of the combo, it's super duper easy. The next one starts with forward 2-3, which was one of the higher end paths when it came to all the crumple stun launchers, and you can see the same result here. Forward 2-3, Narcissus screw attack, and if you want to chance it, you can do the heliotrope ender for some extra damage. So that bumps you up to 63, which is pretty good. The only problem is, again, you have to just do this move and then stop. Forward 3 and stop in order to access this path. So what if you want to do the opposite then? What if you're committed to doing this in the do glide and then sidestep cancels and stay safe every time, right? How do you get your combo? Well, the first thing that comes to mind would just be the screw attack we've been doing all day, right? Just do that shit. Well, that doesn't work half the time. It honestly just doesn't. I can't figure out the trick to it. Do it early, do it late. It just misses sometimes. I try to do it as far away as I could. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really erratic. And I don't know if I want them to change that. I do not know if I want them to screw with the hitboxes on this at all. Hard to say. Needless to say, that's weird how that just doesn't work a lot of times. Because they're highs, they're just missing. So I guess I wouldn't mind if they lowered that hitbox a tiny bit so this works, but you don't need it. You really don't need it. Because what else have we learned about do glides in combos? Yeah, cancel them into side steps. Cancel them into side steps. So, rewind all the way back to the top. What was the best damaging B&B combo we had so far off of Hopkick, right? We started with the down forward 2, then the forward 2-3. That was good damage. And then from there, we do the round off. You can still do that here. You can do the exact same max damage B&B Hopkick combo. You can do that right here. But you have to do the do glide cancel first. You see what I'm doing? Did it even look like I did anything there? I want to turn on the command history just so you can see it actually happening. It's so fast, but it does exist. See, there's a simple do glide, right? I'm holding forward afterwards. No problems. That's all it looks like. I did forward 3, and I held forward for that one frame. And then I tapped up, just a single up tap, cancels the do glide into a sidestep, and the instant I sidestep, I can just do down forward 2. So as soon as you sidestep, you can do down forward 2. Sidestep down forward 2. That's all I'm doing here. Doesn't even look like I'm doing anything. And the problem, the reason it works is I don't actually need the sidestep. I'm not actually counting on the sidestep here. I don't give a shit if I sidestep or not. The only reason I'm doing the sidestep is to cancel the do glide. So slower, it looks like do glide, up, and then down forward 2. Do glide, up, down forward 2, right? Look at this in slower action. Do glide, up, down forward 2. Look at it fast. Same thing. You got to get used to that muscle memory and your do glide cancels. They're going to be important. So once you've gotten used to being able to do any of that stuff, you could do this too, right? There's a ton of options there. But since we learned that you could just do a single do glide cancel and do the max damage B&B combo that we started with, do that one. And the whole thing looks like this. Down forward 2, punt him in the air, round off, screw attack, Narcissus Ender, 66 damage. Perfect. Couldn't ask for anything more than that. So you could play around with other things, other different cancel paths and stuff like that if you wanted to. But I like that one, right? That's the combo we've been doing the whole time. I'm good with that. And the last category of combos is Rage Drive. Since Lili's Rage Drive can start a combo as well as ending one, she has a couple unique options there. Ending the combo is not great, because if you've already done a 6, 7, 8 hit combo, whatever, and then you do this afterward, she's going to kick them so far away there's nothing else you can do. If you're near-ish the wall, and you're doing your whole combo, and you still have rage, and the wall is almost there, then you could do that, and then run up, whatever, but your scaling at that point is high, and you're kind of wasting the potential of rage. These combos, you're going to see them, going to average about 20 points damage more than any other basic combo, which is pretty good in that case. You hit him with this guy first, you take a nice chunk of damage, you still have the whole combo in addition to that, because this preserves screw attack. It looks like they're doing it right there. They're spinning blue spark screw attack. You actually get another one. So you get a whole combo from the starting Rage Drive. They can be a little bit different, but for the most part, you can kind of do the stuff that you would normally expect. So the first combo, you do a little bit of a dash up and the up 3-3. Remember, up 3-3 only worked on the super, super high launchers. So you can do that here since you have time. And then your do glide canceling into back 2-1 for your screw attack, and then Narcissus Ender. So look at it again, up 3-3 into do glide, canceled into Heliotrope to do your screw attack. You could swap these out in a lot of places, right? If you just did a back 1 there instead, you could do back 2-1 post screw attack. Those are very interchangeable, to be honest. Once you've learned how, for the most part, they can fit in either place, depending on how many hits you've got. So the middle combo uses forward 3 to do another screw attack right away. And then from there, do the exact same thing you just did above for the most part and cut out one of the cancels. Just do up 3-3. Do that one single cancel and then end it. You basically missed the part with the screw attack in it because you traded that for forward 3. Forward 3 does a nice grip of damage early in the combo. It's just really hard to apply that anywhere else. The rest of it is the same thing. Up 3-3, one do glide cancel loop into the do glide ender. That's it. And the last combo we're going to take a look at is the other sort of max damage that we saw before. Only a couple of launchers gave you the potential to do the full crouch down forward one, and they were worth it. This is another one. Once you've learned the technique to do the crawl along the ground version of it, the fake do glide, this does a nice chunk of damage. That combo looks like this. Full crouch down forward one, same forward 2-3 that we did before. Narcissus into screw attack, and Narcissus into ender. Just like that, 86 damage. Now, you could probably squeeze more by getting an extra back one cancel loop in there or whatever, and you could probably do that to most of these combos. Once you learn how to do that stuff, it gets a little bit more common, but there are limits, right? You can only get 1 or 2 hits at the most before your juggle scaling is just simply too high. There'd be nothing else you could do. So for the most part, I feel like you should be pretty comfortable with most of the things I showed here. It's one cancel for the most part. Just do one of these things, and then learn how to do any kind